And there's a Cavalier Coupe in red up there.
Yep.
And there's a Zellers. I'm trying to remember if this one was a Kmart at one time. All I know is at one point I came here and bought X-Men video cassettes. And I remember at one time they had Sega Saturn games in here. Hello.
How are you?
We're riding the concrete slipstream to Truro. You know, if you another random thought, if you take Christian mythology seriously,
Yeah.
Jesus can surf without a board. It's just something I find interesting about garbage and litter. I don't really think it's hurting anything back here, but I know I would not dump it here myself. But I don't consider it a good idea to be dumping things like this. But there's something kind of interesting about the packages and the designs of everything that's thrown back here. I suppose it's not really hurting anything, and it looks nicer than nature itself, which can kind of make exploring these trails kind of interesting, just to see the litter. It's not like they're leaking toxins. But I guess I'm done back here. The only good thing I could think about that vehicle was the bright red paint job. But other than that, it was just another truck. Guts. Glory. Bullshit. Called this store UFO, but we didn't actually figure out why it was called UFO.
No. I think it was supposed to be something Family Outfitters or something.
Oh, okay. Could be Universal.
No, Universal doesn't sound familiar.
There's a red Pontiac Pursuit, or G5 or Pursuit, whichever one that one's going by. It's a pretty cool color for, I think it's an Aveo. And there's a Cavalier Coupe in red up there.
Yep.
And there's a Zellers, which is not being,
Liquidated.
yeah, not yet anyway. I think the other one might have been being turned into a Walmart. This will probably be one of the ones that's being turned into a Target, since Target acquired it. A big chunk of the Zellers chain. But I think that's what's going on.
If it was being turned into a Target, wouldn't they liquidate it to do store renovations?
Yeah, but I think the ones that were being liquidated earlier were the ones that were becoming the Walmarts. Yeah, because I think somehow the owners of them were becoming Walmarts, and I don't know how it worked. I just read some details and never picked up on everything. But Zellers is going. I'm trying to remember if one time this one was one of the ones that used to be a Kmart. I'm trying to remember if this one was a Kmart at one time. All I know is at one point I came here and bought X-Men video cassettes. And I remember at one time they had Sega Saturn games in here. But that was the past. That was the past. Distant adventures in the 1990s visiting this store. Whether it was a Zellers at the time or a Kmart, I don't really remember. Well, the later stuff definitely sellers for the later things, such as the Sega Saturn games. Yeah, that little greenish blue Chevy, that is a good color for them. It's always cool to see a red Cavalier coupe. Yeah, and this is the little reminder map that I made. I think I probably made this. I think one time I was talking to Ryan, the summer that Ryan was hanging around down here for the last time. And I'm pretty sure that was 2006. It was a summer Holger spent it in at his sister's place. Yeah, and Ryan was down. So kind of it was the summer that I traded Holger for Ryan. And then around the time Ryan went back to the city, or no, it was college course, which wasn't in the city, it was farther than the city. That's around the time Holger came back down. So it was kind of like, well, Holger wasn't around, but Ryan was around, you know. It's kind of it. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I made this back then, just as a reminder. I obviously knew Stewart's Hill and the co-op and then just follow that twisty road up to the four-way stop by the Esso to go that way, and when I get into the congested Truro area, not to make go into any of the lanes that would force me to make a right-hand turn, go until I see Pie Chevrolet, Pie Chevrolet's Cadillac it was once known as, back when this Cavalier was acquired from them, as well as another old Cavalier I once drove, also had come from there. Keep going down there until about the time I come to the Toyota dealership. Then I turn until I see the Pontiac dealership, which is right next to the Zellers. But now the Pontiac dealership is a Kia dealership. Which, now if you can't have Pontiac Buick, well, Pontiac Buick GMC. I mean, GMC was just trucks. I mean, but if you can't have a Pontiac and Buick dealership, Kia's not a bad substitute. But yeah, that's the old map, and it has Pontiac on it instead of Kia, but works because I always remember that as a Pontiac dealership. And then there's the mall here with the big Zellers sign. I actually assume the Zellers will probably become a Target. So, this entire map will change everything except Toyota and the Chevrolet dealership will remain the same. And I think that's still an Esso for the gas station. Co-op's still there. And Stewart's Hill. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's the old reminder map. Just all the little places to remember to look for when I come to this mall in Truro. It was supposed to be a warm day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, whether or not you put the sweater on, you are looking hot.
Yeah.
It's something very, very simple, but I've always enjoyed parking lots for some reason. Always liked seeing all the cars. There. Sheet Harbor does smell like feces, but it's not the same,
Same type
yeah, the cattle feces that you smell here, yeah. Or something like...
It's not the wood chips, it's human toilet waste.
Yeah, that's what makes Sheet Harbor smell like it does. I don't think it smells that bad here, despite... There's a very faint smell of stinkiness, but not too bad.
No, it's not bad.
No. To Truro on the way here, I always used to smell a pretty nasty cattle feces smell.
They haven't started spreading the wheels yet, that's why.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't smell it the last few times. Truro itself, though, I smell exhaust and Kentucky Fried Chicken, which was one of my favorite smells to smell in Halifax. I remember there was one place in Halifax I really liked, where there was a pornography store on one side of the road and a video game store on the other side of the road. And you could smell KFC and vehicle exhaust. I thought it was great.
They changed the name of Excitement Video on Quinnipiac.
Oh, damn. What to?
It's still a porn store.
Well, that's good.
It's something like, I forget, it's
A different name.
a different name.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look for it, the lines on the Kia Forte Coupe are a lot like the old Cavalier coupes from the 80s. If you look at the lines just the right way. That one would look perfect with the same bumper cover that the sedans have. I like how the windows go on the side of it.
Yeah.
The Chevrolet Cavalier, like the Kia Forte, has a the sort of line of symmetry to it. Although the old 80s Cavalier were far more square, you can see that they both come to a central point. Both very noticeable line of symmetry, as well as the fact that they actually come to a forward point, which is a bumper that actually looks like it's designed to point forward. Both the Kia Forte and the Chevrolet Cavalier had headlights that, if you look at them, they point inward at the bottom, which matches the vehicle's lines to further create an image of pointing forward. And both have fairly nice shaped headlights. The side windows on both Cavaliers and, well, Cavaliers from 1982, the very first ones, right up to 1987, as well as Pontiac Sunbirds for the entire life of the name, have a sort of like a body line that separates from the beginning, goes a little bit lower, and then the windows kind of point forward, but also dip down a little bit into that body line. There's Zeller's.
This is really crappy polish.
Mm.
It's already chipping off, and I only did it last night.
The combination of pink and green doesn't really do a whole lot for me, but I really like the pink and black.
Yeah,
I like
was
green.
Good. And that
green
lasted almost a week without chipping,
yeah.
The pink and the black.
Now, what I think would be cool is pink and blue or green and blue. I don't know, there's something about red and green never went that well together for me. Although when I was a little kid, I always thought Floyd the Baseman and the Muppets looked cool, and he wore red and green. But he also had blue glasses. I feel like there's Chip Flicks brand. What was cool about Chip Flicks brand's appropriate name is they used to come in cans like Pringles. I haven't seen that in a while though. I remember getting them with Holger.
I remember
Holger
that.
liked the more expensive chips. Some of the trips standing in ish with him. I remember him commenting on that. Saying about, they're good, better than... Well, I think that's what he said. I know, I thought that as well, but I just remember him getting them one of the times. But I never had the kettle... Oh, maybe I did have the kettle cook. They wouldn't put these ones in a can, because kettle cooked there too, they're not really flat. But
yeah.
But the kettle cooked ones, I never tried those before. But I'm trying them now. They're good. Kettle cooked is good, I always find, yeah. Another type I like is those, what are they called, munchies or munchos? They're made out of, like, almost like reformed potato flakes.
Oh, that one can go outside.
Yeah, the crows will like it.
Yep.
But I remember I really liked those, especially when I was a kid. I remember, wow, they have an extra salty goodness to them. My family ate a lot of salt. Well, it was, especially the older generations, from like, it's no wonder my grandfather has kidney issues. Well, my mother's a diabetic. Talk about how bad the food is now. But when you think of the stuff that they ate in the 80s, and then how worse it was in the 70s, and then the lard fried stuff in the 50s and 60s, and it's like, they complain about how things are getting worse health-wise. It's like, fucking kidding. The reason why people weren't incredible, the reason why the population wasn't as obese back then per capita is because more people were, couldn't afford to feed themselves.
Not except that they grew their own food, which takes a lot of work.
Go back to the 1800s. They boiled the hell out of all the vegetables.
Well, even down our way, in the 1960s, they were still doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
they were years and years behind everywhere else.
Meat has protein and iron and fuck all else. And then the vegetables, they boil the hell out of them in the past. I mean,
yep.
People were getting the bare minimum nutrition. I mean, even when they're eating what's supposed to be healthy food. And in fact, just looking at when people talk about fruit juices like they're healthy. Well, this is kettle cooked, so it has a little bit less vitamin C in it. But potato chips often had more nutritional value than a lot of fruit juices, which were just sugar water, because the nutrients in them broke down when it was stored, cooked, processed, whatever.
A lot of the nutrients got burned away.
And it's not all left over in the past. Everything was lard fried and full of greasy, cholesterol-y meat anyway. On the Daily Show, Jon Stewart choked a couple times about how it was a bad idea. Sure, you could have a Dorito shell for a taco, but you shouldn't. It's like, why not? It's a taco. It's like a tortilla shell in the first place, or a crunchy nacho shell in the first place. How the hell is it any worse because it's a Dorito? I mean, for all we know, the Doritos might be more nutritious than the shells they were using in the first place. There's no way to know for sure. And it's not the Dorito shell that's the bad part. It's the greasy meat crap in the middle that... Sure, the shell would be carbohydrate and so forth, but probably a little extra salt, but it's like you're eating a taco. I mean, the idea of the Dorito shell should not in any way, shape, or form make it more or less nutritional sounding. It's like you're using a different tortilla. Or whatever you call the type of, whatever you call the shell that they're wrapped in. The crunchy goodness. The bad idea was when they ground up the cow and stuck it in there. The good idea was when they added the spices. And the cheese. And the shell.
Go for it? Should I go?
Yeah.
I'm slowly going.
It's good to share your chips if they fall on the floor. And, you know, the gulls have found your chip.
Those are the little short ones too.
What, the gulls? Come on, gull, take the chip. He's deciding. Sooner or later he will. He'll make his choice. He'll waddle over and get it when he's good and ready.
Hello, Crow. Hello.
They are very good chips, but if you want to share them with the crows and the gulls, you may feel free. Not all of them.
No.
They are good.
Hello.
Hello. The crow getting any closer? I can't see him.
He's right up beside me.
Nah, he's probably too close for me to see over where I'm sitting. The gull's upset he didn't get any.
I wonder if I distracted the crow with one.
Yeah, throw two in two different directions. If the crow would get one and the gull would get the other.
That one? That one? There you go.
You got it?
Yeah, you got it.
It's usually the gulls that bust in and take the stuff from the crows, not the other way around.
He's so slow though. There you go. Hurry.
The crow flew away. And the crow came back. He flew away for a minute, but then he came back. And then the gull flew off. Hello, crow. Hello, hello. Will you respond to that? Crows sometimes make that noise. Probably they learn it from humans. Well, they pretty much have to learn it from humans.
The gull made a crow noise.
That's awesome.
It
That
went,
was actually the gull that opened its mouth and did that?
Yeah.
That is impressive. Crows and jays, the corvids, often mimic other birds and other animals as well. But not often it's the gulls that...
He's walking over saying, hello. That's the same little crow. Look at how short his little legs are and how stout he is.
Yeah. Just noticed that.
It's just a short little bird. Wide. Mortimer's right long and lanky.
Might be a different... Well, I mean, look at the variations within humans.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be too surprised that that can happen within corvids, especially crows.
If I was sitting out there,
Yeah.
just get closer and closer. And he's sitting there and he's just staring at me.
Crows are interesting. The gulls are pretty cool too. Oh, he flew away.
Hurry, hurry!
Seagull get it? Yeah.
No, he's
Oh.
scared.
Oh,
I think
that's too bad.
When I leaned out the window, he got spooked. Yeah, that's a nice color for a neon too.
Yep.
Oh, the gull's way, way back there now. Still hanging around. But the crow's gone. What if the crow's gonna come back?
He might. The crow up there does look like that crow. He does have a kind of low to the ground, kind of wide look to him.
I know, I've seen him close up from here.
Looks like him.
Get back. I can see the way the tail feathers are. Hello!
Oh, he's going. There he goes. This is a cool headstone. You do find graveyards interesting. This isn't too bad of a distance, but historic. That Chevalier, does that mean he didn't die yet, but they have his tombstone there?
I don't know.
Because it looks 1922 to unknown.
They may not have they may not have had it carved in. Maybe there's something on the other side of it as well.
Chevalier, I believe that can be a type of fish, but it's also sometimes the French term for cavalier. Would also make a good nickname for the cars that are a Chevrolet Cavalier. Astral Edge with SPT. I wonder if that means somebody spit in it. Holy shit, Hummers are ugly.
I know.
The grill is hideous on most of them, and from the back it still just looks like a fucking box. You are wonderful. Thank you for sharing your sushi you bought.
You're welcome.
I'll try this one. One of those Chryslers look really cool. And the ones that actually have a bumper that goes out in front of the grill, as opposed to stupidly sticking the grill out in front of the bumper, it looks pretty cool when they actually have a bumper in front of the grill. I don't understand why anybody would put the grill in front of the bumper. I mean, the bumper should come first. Ooh, information on it.
Yep. That would be a yearling baby.
Okay. Crows are interesting.
Those are interesting.
Oh, there's one of the large Fords that looks like a giant Tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Another World. And just about every version of this I've ever seen, it was called Out of This World. So I have it for the Sega Genesis. Holger had it for the Amiga computer. He also had the Super Nintendo version. And but I don't know. Maybe it's a regional thing. Maybe it was more popular in Europe, and maybe they called it Another World there. But Amiga computers were really popular there. But let's see. It was on the 3. Oh, I gotta get the 3DO version now that I know there's a 3DO version of it. How did I miss that fact? 3DO, SNES, which would be Super Nintendo, Genesis, which would be Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive. It just says 3DO, SNES, Genesis, Mega CD. Mega CD, that's the European and Japanese name for the Sega CD, PC, and Amiga. So it's 3DO, SNES, Genesis, Mega CD, PC, and Amiga. They mentioned this game was on.
Oh, it also has a little video about the making of.
They'll probably reference the naming in it. But I noticed Heroes Quest and Quest for Glory are the same game series. They changed the name in that. But this looks like it has new and improved artwork. But they probably have the original artwork. Yeah, that's always good. I must show Holger this as soon as I get the chance to. Yeah, originally released in 1991. Enjoyed worldwide success on many platforms, including the 3DO, SNES, Genesis, Mega CD, PC, and Amiga. I knew about the Mega CD version because it included the sequel. Maybe Another World is the official name that they're giving it when it has the sequel. I think the sequel was called Heart of the Alien. But Another World, that's a fine name for it, I suppose. Maybe they wanted to call it Another World, but at the time they couldn't use the name because it wasn't that long after there had been a TV show called Another World.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that show supposed to take place in the same continuity as the Cosby Show.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know very little about those old shows. I remember watching the Cosby Show, but I remember very little about them. But I know that the guy that I think he played Theo, he later played on Jeremiah. Curdy was his name. Fairly good character. And Jeremiah was originally a comic book, but was adapted into TV by J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5, and a guy who wrote a lot of episodes of The Real Ghostbusters and was probably their better story editor. Anyway, I guess we'll probably go back into the mall soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll load up on cola and then we'll get ready to go.
Yeah. I should probably have a sip of this. Even though my bladder is overloaded.
Well, then we better get to the food court bathroom sometime soon.
Yes.
I think we had a good day yesterday, didn't we?
We did.
It was a good trip to Truro. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Courtney, which we would have done if she had been feeling better.
Yeah.
But we should do it again sometime.
Agreed.
And next time we'll take a closer look at the that statue I was talking about.
Yeah, I seen it driving by.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very interesting.
Next time we'll take a closer look at the statue of the...
What's that coming from?
It's Mazda 2, which is kind of like a Ford Fiesta, except the Ford Fiesta actually looks a little bit nicer. And it's not often that the Fords look nicer than the Mazdas, but in that case...
Michelle and Bernie. One of her spots.
But anyway, we should go to Truro again and take a closer look at the statue of the preacher, whose robe, for some reason, something must be under it, is...
And it is around his crotch.
Yeah, but for some reason his robe extends out and underneath the podium, as if there's somebody crouched under it, which I think makes for a very interesting statue, and very appropriately religious too.
Yeah. And on the front of it says something like, "Oh Lord," or something like that, that he's exclaiming.
Oh Lord, what the altar boys are doing under my robes. That's what he's saying. Oh Lord, what the altar boys are doing under his robe. But anyway, yeah, we should go to Truro again.
I agree.
And maybe next time we'll get to see Courtney. I can see that the nail polish that you were talking about is wearing off.
Yep.
Yeah, you said it was far from the best stuff you. Yeah. But the time you did pink and black, that looked kind of cool.
Yeah, and it lasted a long time. It was almost a week before it had any chips whatsoever in it. So that black, it is the most awesome black polish I had ever used. I am so happy that right now black is the in-style color for nail polish. Even the sheeple people are wearing black on their nails now. So the manufacturers have to make good quality black nail polish. Usually it was always the crappy Halloween quality crap that took 4 coats to make any difference, that you can see it on your nail. I still have some of that at home.
You know, another random thought, if you take Christian mythology seriously,
Yeah.
Jesus can surf without a board.